In this video lecture, we are going to calculate the pressure exerted by an ideal gas on the walls of container. The calculation of pressure by ideal gas is based on some of the assumptions considered for the ideal gases. The assumptions are: number one, gas consists of extremely large number of very tiny particles called as molecules of a gas. Molecules of a gas are very small in size as compared to distance between the two molecules. The gas molecules are always in a state of random motion. The gas molecules can move in any direction with any velocity. Gas molecules collide with each other as well as with the walls of the container. Collision of a gas molecule is a perfectly elastic collision. Elastic collision, it means that during its collision, momentum as well as kinetic energy is conserved. The gas molecule exert pressure on the walls of the container. The gas molecule travels along a straight line between two successive collisions. Average of the distance covered by the gas molecule between two successive collisions is called as mean free path. These are the assumptions with the help of which we are able to find out, or rather calculate, the pressure exerted by the gas molecule. The basic principle on which we are going to calculate the pressure is that when gas molecule hits on the wall of the container with some velocity, let's see, it rebounds with velocity minus c. Here, the colliding system is a molecule and the wall. The velocity before it collide is c. Velocity after it collide is minus c. Because of that, the momentum before collision is mc. After collision, it is minus mc. The change in the momentum of the gas molecule is minus 2mc. But the change of momentum of the system is 0. Minus 2mc is the loss of momentum by the molecule. The momentum gained by the wall is 2mc1. Therefore, because of repeated collision of gas molecule with the same surface, there will be increase in the momentum of the wall, and the change of momentum per unit time is the rate of change of momentum, is the force, and the force per unit area is the pressure. जेव्हा केव्हा गॅस मॉलिक्यूल एका सरफेसवर आदळतो तेव्हा तो त्या सरफेसवरून रिबाउंड होतो. जाताना मोमेंटम mc, येताना -2 mc, मोमेंटम मध्ये झालेला बदल मॉलिक्यूल मध्ये -2 mc1, पण मॉलिक्यूल आणि सरफेस दोघांचं मिळून मोमेंटम कॉन्स्टंट राहतं. मॉलिक्यूलच्या मोमेंटम मधला बदल -2 mc, सरफेसच्या मोमेंटम मध्ये झालेली वाढ +2 mc. म्हणून प्रत्येक कोलिजन बरोबर सरफेसच्या मोमेंटम मध्ये वाढ होते. मोमेंटम मध्ये झालेला बदल प्रत्येक सेकंदाला तो मोमेंटमच्या बदलाचा दर आहे, आणि मोमेंटमच्या बदलाचा दर म्हणजे फोर्स आहे, आणि फोर्स पर युनिट एरिया म्हणजे प्रेशर आहे. आता हे आपल्याला सिद्ध करायचं आहे. मग काय करूया त्याच्यासाठी? लेट अस कन्सिडर there is a container which is shown in the figure. It's a cube. Length of the each side of the cube is equal to L. L is the length of each side of the cube. L is the length of each side of the cube. Therefore, area of the cube is equal to L square. Volume of the cube is equal to L cube. The cube is a container which consists n number of molecules. These n number of molecules are in a state of motion. They move with different velocities in different directions. Let us consider there is a molecule. It is represented by mass m. Let this molecule is moving with velocity v. The component of this velocity along the three perpendicular axes is Vx, Vy and Vz. This cube is such that the sides of the cube are parallel to x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Therefore, a particle which is having velocity v in any direction has component of velocity parallel to x-axis as vx, parallel to y-axis as vy and parallel to z-axis as vz. We know that the resultant velocity v square is equal to vx square plus vy square plus vz square. Now, the component of velocity v parallel to x-axis is vx. Here we are going to consider the two surfaces A1 and A2. Surfaces A1 and A2 are parallel to YZ axes. Surfaces A1 and A2 are parallel to YZ plane. The component of velocity towards the surface A1 is Vx. The component of velocity towards the surface A1 is Vx. The particle of mass m having a component of velocity Vx towards A1 collide with A1 by the momentum m into v1. The collision is perfectly elastic. Therefore, the molecule rebounds with a velocity minus of vx. Therefore, the change in momentum of this molecule, change in momentum of this molecule is equal to the final momentum minus initial momentum. Therefore, the change in momentum of molecule is minus of m into vx minus of m into vx. It is equal to minus 2m into vx. The negative sign indicates that this much momentum has been lost by the molecule. The molecule and the surface A1 together will form a colliding system. The total momentum of colliding system remains constant. Therefore, change of momentum is 0. Therefore, this much momentum lost by the molecule is gained by the surface. Therefore, the change in momentum px dash by change in momentum px dash of surface A1 is equal to delta px dash is equal to plus 2m into vx. This molecule moving towards the surface A1 loses momentum minus 2m into vx within one collision of one molecule. The same momentum has been gained by the surface within one collision of one molecule is 2m into vx. Now, the distance covered by the gas molecule between two successive collisions is equal to 2L. Here, what the approximation we are taking here is that the molecule of mass m moving towards the surface A1 with component of velocity Vx rebounds with a velocity minus Vx and moves towards the opposite surface with velocity minus Vx. If you reduce the pressure inside the cube, the number of molecules inside the cube has been reduced, and because of that, from one surface to another surface, there is no intermolecular collision. Therefore, molecule which is rebounded with a velocity minus Vx will collide with the surface of minus Vx and again rebounds towards A1 with velocity plus of Vx. Therefore, after the collision with the surface A1, the distance covered by the molecule from A1 to A2 is L, and again from A2 to A1 is L. Therefore, the distance between two successive collisions x is equal to 2L. Now, the molecule moves with a velocity Vx between the two surfaces A1 and A2. Therefore, time interval between two successive collisions is distance divided by velocity. Therefore, delta t is equal to 2L divided by Vx. In one collision, the gain in momentum of 2m into Vx and number of collision per second is 2L by Vx. Therefore, the frequency of collision of one molecule with the surface is Vx divided by 2L. The frequency of collision is Vx divided by 2L. Therefore, the change in momentum delta Px of surface A by one molecule in 1 second is equal to the change in momentum delta Px of surface A1 by one molecule in 1 second is equal to change of momentum delta Px divided by time delta T, or it is change of momentum delta Px into frequency. Now, this change in momentum of surface A1 is 2m into Vx, and the frequency is Vx divided by 2L, and it comes out to be change in momentum of A1 in 1 second is the rate of change of momentum, and the rate of change of momentum is the force. According to Newton's second law, it is the force acting on A1 by collision of one molecule is m into Vx square by L. Therefore, force on A1 by all molecules F is equal to m divided by L in the bracket Vx1 square plus Vx2 square plus Vx3 square plus dash dash. By all molecule, the force on A1 by all molecule is F is equal to m by L, m Vx square x1 square plus Vx2 square plus Vx3 square, like that. If we multiply numerator and denominator by capital N, it will be the force on A1 F is equal to m by L into capital N into Vx1 square plus Vx2 square plus dash dash divided by capital N. Now, this is square of component of velocity parallel to x-axis for first molecule, second molecule, third molecule, like that for n molecules, and this total will come out to be equal to the mean square velocity. I will keep a bar here for mean square velocity. The mean square velocity is Vx1 square Vx2 square plus dash dash divided by capital N. Therefore, force on surface A1, it is N into m divided by capital L, and instead of this one I will write Vx square bar. The bar indicates that it is mean square velocity. But one more thing that is known to us is that the molecules of a gas in a container are in a state of random motion, but number of molecules per unit volume remains same. Therefore, As an approximation, molecules along x-axis, molecules along y-axis, and molecules along z-axis are moving with equal average velocity. Velocity of different molecules is different, no doubt about that. But the mean square velocity parallel to x-axis is equal to mean square velocity parallel to y-axis is equal to mean square velocity parallel to z-axis. Summation of all these three is v square, mean square velocity, and each one is equal, therefore it is mean square velocity divided by 3. Therefore the force acting on surface A1 is equal to 1 upon 3 nm divided by L into mean square velocity. Mean square velocity. If this is the force acting on the particles moving parallel to x-axis, and the average of the force due to all the particles moving along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis in different direction on the different surfaces, then the average pressure is equal to force upon area is equal to F divided by L square. Therefore the average pressure is 1 by 3 Nm divided by L into L square, this one, into V bar square. This comes out to be equal to, it is 1 by 3 N into M divided by L cube into V bar square. V bar square is the mean square velocity. M is the number of molecules, M is the mass of each molecule. Therefore, the N into M is the total mass divided by L cube is the volume into mean square velocity. Therefore, pressure exerted by the gas molecule on the walls of the container is P is equal to 1 by 3 mass upon volume is the density, which is constant throughout the container, into mean square velocity. Thank you very much.